Hello, my saucy little sailors, and welcome to SnackTube. Today I've got a wee item that, when I get it from Greg's, is a favourite of mine, but this is a home bake situation. So these are Pukka steak bakes. That's right, steaky bakes. Love a steak bake from Greg's, although I feel like in recent years they've kind of downgraded the quality of the beef in the steak bakes. I feel like they used to be much better quality back in the day, but maybe that's just nostalgia, nostalgia goggles maybe. I don't know. But these are from Pukka, a well-known brand. You know, they make loads of different pastry stuff, steak bakes, they make pies is probably the thing they're most well known for. I know that in a lot of like football stadiums you get Pukka pies and things like that. So quite a well-known brand. These were from the freezer section in Tesco, I want to say, but I imagine they're available in most supermarkets. So yeah, I don't eat a lot of Pukka stuff. I never really buy anything from Pukka, really. So I'm quite interested to try these steak bakes and see what they're like. Homemade steak bakes or ones you can buy from the shop. I don't tend to get them that often. When I do, I tend to just buy the Greggs ones because you can get the Greggs ones in Iceland. Hopefully these will be nice. I mean, they look good. They've got steak and they look all right. So yeah, hopefully they'll be good. So these are steak bakes. It's a 2-pack, so you get 2 in there. Can't remember what I paid for them, but they were part of a, is it buy 4 get 1, buy 3 get another one free, I think it was, or maybe it was buy 2 get a third free, something like that from Tesco. They had a deal where you get frozen stuff and you get one of them free. Description says, tasty, rich and full of flavour, bakes in under 30 minutes. I put them in for 28 minutes on 200 degrees. So, let's read the back of this package then. It's quite minimalist actually, it's quite decent. I don't have to go comb through a bunch of different languages or anything. Steak bakes, tender diced steak and potatoes in beef gravy encased in light puff pastry. Okay, I'm already taken aback by the fact that it's got potatoes in it. I don't want potatoes in my steak bakes, but hopefully it'll be nice anyway. There's your list of ingredients. If you want to pause the video, have a wee look at those. Allergies, you've got wheat flour, sulfites, barley, and milk. May also contain traces of soya, so if you've got any of those allergies, stay away. So let's see, what have we got? Nutritional information. You've got an amount per bake, so let's go with that. So you've got 362 calories per bake. I think that's less than a Greg's steak bake, but don't hold me to that. 18 grams of fat, 8.3 grams of saturated fat. That's almost half your saturated fat just in one bake. That's quite a lot. 35.9 grams of carbs, 9 grams of which is sugar, 1.7 grams fiber, 13.4 grams of protein, and 1.28 grams of salt. So yeah, quite high in the fat, quite high in the saturates, quite high in the carbs, and quite high in the salt. So you're quite high in most of the things. So these are not good for you, but hopefully it means they'll be nice. I like that on here it does actually give you the, it's got the best before date on it, but it's also got the frozen on date. So these were frozen on the 7th of May, 2024. So, wow, these were frozen ages ago. That seems weird, but I don't know how long they go from being frozen in the factory to being put in store shelves. I wonder what the timeline is there. I have no idea. Maybe that's normal. Who knows? But anyway, yeah, that's them. Pukka steak bakes. Let's have a look at them then, show you them, we'll see what they look like. Shaboom. They look, I mean, assuming it's not just air in there, which it probably is, but we'll find out. They seem to be quite stuffed, quite well stuffed, so not complaining at that. The top looks a little bit dry. Obviously it needed a bit of egg wash, but we just make them as it tells you to make them in the packet. But yeah, look okay. Look quite nice. Can't really smell anything from them apart from the pastry, so couldn't really tell you anything from the smell. So yeah, just time to break them open and see what they're like. So, these are Pukka steak bakes. Let's give them the old taste test, shall we? These will undoubtedly be hot, like molten lava. The base is quite soft compared to the top, which is quite hard. I guess that's because they've been on a tray. Okay, well, they're not pure stuffed, it is just air. See, I don't know how well you can see that, right? But there is no filling on this end of the pastry. None at all. That bite I just got was nothing but pastry and air. So was that one. I've still got no filling after 2 bites. That's bad. I mean, the rest of it looks to be reasonably stuffed. It's just obviously not spread out evenly amongst the pastry, which is a bit of a shame. Maybe you need to just redistribute it before you bite in. Give it a wee squish down. Okay, let's see if we can get some actual steak this time. Okay. Yeah, wee napkin. Quite a lot to break down here. We'll start with the pastry all over me. Let's start with the pastry. So the pastry itself is it's quite dry, quite a dry pastry. The top and the bottom, like all over it, it's quite powdery. Like it feels quite powdery on the top and the bottom. There's clearly no sort of egg wash on it. I mean, it doesn't even say that it has egg in it, so there's no egg in it at all anyway. So there's no egg wash, which, yeah, it's really dry. It doesn't have a glossiness to it, and it's quite powdery as well, which is a bit strange. They're powdery on the surface. The inside of the pastry is sufficiently moist, but that's just because of the filling. But yeah, I don't like the powderiness on the outside of it. So the texture is okay apart from that powderiness, which I can't say I like. Now for the filling. I think the filling should be spread out a bit better because that one end of the pastry basically had nothing in it. But once you get past that, there's quite a lot of filling. I mean, you definitely get a decent amount in each bite. As long as it's distributed properly, you would get a good bite in good bit of steak in every bite. So that's okay. So there's enough filling, which is good. Decent amount of filling. The only problem is, I don't really like it. I don't know how to describe it. It's a beef gravy. Is it maybe a bit winey? Is there wine in it? Try to look at the ingredients to see what we've got in here. Worcestershire style sauce, salt, garlic, ground pepper, flavor enhancer, pea protein. It's a plant-based glaze, which so is stupid. Why use a plant-based glaze when it's a steak bake? It's literally a meat pastry, and that plant-based glaze is crud. It is rubbish. It is not nice at all. So the glaze is terrible. Yeah, I don't know. I can't put my finger on what the flavour is of that steak. It's a bit. I mean, it's beefy, but it's like an artificially beefy flavour. I don't know how else to describe it. Yeah, I want to say it tastes a bit like wine, like there's a wine gravy, but there's no wine in it, and I don't know if it entirely is winey. It's different from what I expect from a beef gravy. There's something different about it. I can't quite place my finger on it. The steak itself is okay. Chunks of steak in there. Doesn't seem to be an actual huge amount of actual steak. And then the potatoes completely ruin it. They completely ruin it. I love potatoes, and potatoes is like my favourite vegetable, if it even really counts as a vegetable. But in a steak bake, it becomes more like a stew, and I'm not a fan of stews. I just having it all mixed together in one big pot. I don't like that. It creates too many combinations of weird textures and weird flavours put together when some things should remain separate. And adding the potato in there doesn't do anything to add any flavour, really. All it does is make the texture horrible. It gives it a sort of a grainy texture on the inside, like that grainy kind of potatoey texture, and ruins the whole experience. And realistically, they call this a steak bake. It's not a steak bake, it's a steak and potato bake. And because the potato, if I knew it was a steak and potato bake, I never would have bought it. The potato totally ruins it. It ruins the texture. It dilutes the flavour of the beef, so it doesn't taste as nice. And yeah, it makes for a very piss poor experience, I have to say. I don't waste food, so I'll eat them. But I have to say, I'm very, very disappointed in that. I was hoping for something that would rival a Greggs steak bake, but the Greggs steak bake very much takes the Pukka steak bake and beats the living crap out of it. The Greggs ones, despite the fact that I feel like the quality of the beef has gone down a bit in a Greggs steak bake, there's still more beef in one of those than there is in one of these. It's very clear to me that they call it a steak bake, but the reason they put potato through it is to fill it out without filling it out with actual steak, because that saves them money. And it doesn't make for a nicer pastry. It makes the pastry a hell of a lot worse. And yeah, it ruins it. So overall, never going to buy that again. I think it's poor. If you're the kind of person who likes stews and likes to have their potato and their steak all together inside a pastry, then maybe it's more your cup of tea. But for me, I'm very passionate when it comes to steak bakes, steak pies. You know, there's very strict ingredients that should be in a steak bake and a steak pie, that kind of thing. You know, steak and then the vegetables that are used to basically make the gravy, you know, the onions and that kind of stuff. Outside of that, you should not have anything else. I don't want big hunks of potato. I don't want big hunks of carrot. I don't want peas in my bloody pie. I just want pie. I just want meat and pastry and gravy. That's literally it. If I want veg, I would have it on the side. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. But that'll do for today. Thanks very much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe, hit the wee bell to get notifications anytime a new video comes out. And of course, let me know in the comments if there's anything you would like to see next. And please let me know in the comments your opinion on steak bakes and steak pies. If you have very stringent rules on steak pies like I do, then please let me know, because I'm very passionate about steak pies. It's like the only food that I'm like very, very thing me about, you know what I mean? Anyway, rant over. Thanks very much for watching. It's been a pleasure as always. I will catch you in the next one, and I hope you have yourselves a fantastic day. Take it easy, my friends.